Hey, it's Ollie, and in this video I want to answer a question from Maciej, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I believe it's a Polish name. And he asked about a situation in which I found myself in Japan, and so I really like this question because it sounds weird unless you're actually in the situation yourself, in which case it becomes totally normal. And so what he said was how to learn a language from scratch when you're living in the country. Right, now the issue he pointed to was he feels it's arrogant to walk up and strike up conversations with native speakers there when you can't yet speak the language yourself. But on the other hand, he doesn't want to sit at home and study books. Now I can relate to this 110%. When I first arrived in Japan, I was learning Japanese from scratch. I felt silly trying to practice my rudimentary Japanese with people on the street beyond transactional stuff like ordering food or buying something in a shop. I just didn't have the ability. And on top of that, a language like Japanese also has quite a steep barrier to entry, so it's quite difficult to actually get to the point where you can hold down a conversation. English might be seen as the opposite of that in a way. English has kind of got an easier barrier to entry, a lower barrier to entry, but it gets harder later on. Anyway, so I'd arrived in Japan. I was on my own. I was on the other sid of the world. When it was the weekend or evenings, the last thing I wanted to do was sit at home and study by myself. It was kind of, what am I doing? So I really sympathise with this predicament. So what do you do about it? A couple of thoughts. The thing about it being arrogant to strike up conversations when you can't speak. I mean, I think the word arrogant depends very much on your point of view. I'm not sure I'd use the same adjective, although I do sympathise with it. I just feel like it's not nice. I feel uncomfortable doing it. I feel sympathy for the person I'm inflicting my rudimentary skills on. You don't learn anything from it. It's very difficult to see the benefit in doing in just kind of random encounters when you're at a basic level in the language. So I'm with you on that completely. But obviously, you've got to start somewhere, right? Now, if you don't want to sit at home and study books, then you've got to look for other opportunities to acquire knowledge in the language. At the beginning, you've got to put in a fair amount of work to get that foundation. That's not going to come from nowhere. You've got to get it from somewhere. Okay, so the first thing is you don't have to study at home. Okay, now if you're anything like me, something I might not want to do at home by myself, I might be fine doing in Starbucks, for example. One of the things I don't particularly like is a kind of being at home alone when I'm in another country. Something about that situation just feels wrong to me. But if I take my books and go out and sit in a coffee shop or something, that's totally fine. I enjoy the buzz. So you can try to take that study that you would like to do, but don't want to do it at home, and take that out elsewhere. Do it outside the house. So you can, if you live abroad and you work, for example, then something that I did was when I finished work every day, I would go and sit in a cafe and religiously do an hour of study after work every day. I was happy to do it because it wasn't at home, so I kind of felt fine being there and doing that. That way you get your study in. Okay. The other thing you can do is to obviously sign up to language classes. But even if you sign up to language classes, you've still got to do the work yourself, right? So that's only half the battle. So the other thing you can do is to join language exchanges of some kind. And this is something that I've relied on heavily in the past. If you can find somebody who is happy to do a language exchange with you as a beginner, then that can be a great way of learning a lot of the basics, because you're with someone who's got that sympathetic ear, right? So they'll help you practice, they'll teach you stuff, they'll help you get the basics together. Not the most efficient way of doing it. I mean, really, that study in the early stages is important because you've just got to get exposure to a broad range of words and phrases and things like that. But you could, for example, take a textbook that you like and then go and sit with your language partner and work through it, for example. You can do something like that. The other thing to think about is using commuting time. All right, so if you take the train or the bus to work or something like that, then use that time. It's very easy to let dead time become the time Yeah, when I was in Japan, I used to get a train at 6:30 in the morning for an hour and a half across Tokyo. It was horrible. And you've got a choice. You can kind of sit there and daydream and just kind of gaze out the window, or you can sit down and apply yourself. Right, okay, I'm going to use this study time for something profitable. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn. Often, I think if you really make the most of your dead time, it can add up quite quickly. Okay, so that can be a way to get out of the feeling of not wanting to sit at home and study books. If you don't want to study books at all, I think you've got a different set of problems or challenges, I should say. But I think what I took from that question is the whole thing of sitting at home and studying. So it's a combination of controlling your environment, doing the work you need to do in different atmospheres, and then also involving other people who are willing to help you get that early practice. If you can do that, then what will happen is that you will quickly learn the basics. You won't be learning from scratch for very long. Okay, if you can do it and you've got to do it regularly. It can't be something you do every now and again. If you do it and you make a habit out of it, so you're doing this, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and you're learning that way, then pretty quickly you're going to be at a point where you have enough confidence and enough vocabulary to start interacting with people, and hopefully that feeling of that uncomfortable feeling of striking up conversations with people will start to diminish, and it will start to fade away as you become stronger in the language. Well, I hope that was helpful. I do sympathise. Feel free to leave me a comment below if you'd like to add to any of that, or to clarify the question. If you have got a similar experience, feel free to weigh in the comments as well. I always find it very interesting to hear from people in similar experiences. So there we go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more like this, and I'll see you back in the next video.